Okay, the second part um, about this lecture it's about the larynx. So let's see. Let's remember first what we know till now. If you see in this picture, it's a lateral view. You can see here it's a lateral view. So we can see just a small part, the most inferior part of the nose, oral cavity. Remember, they are separated by the palatine region with the hard palate, this white part which is in front, and soft palate which is behind. The tongue occupies all the oral cavity proper. In front of the teeth is the vestibule. Let's go more inferior. Right here is the larynx. You know about epiglottis. And behind right here, it's visible pharynx, naso, oro, and laryngopharynx. And from this level starts esophagus. If you look here, the larynx is located in this region, so in the central part of the neck. Above right here is hyoid bone, and under, as you can see here, it's trachea. So we can say that larynx is located in front of the pharynx, in front of the last part of the pharynx, and behind of the muscles of the neck, anterior muscles of the neck. They are not visible in this picture, but you have to know that we can say they are hyoidian muscles because hyoid bone is connected with this cartilage of the larynx. Hyoid bone is connected with sternal manubrium or sternal manubrium with thyroid cartilage. But again, we can say hyoidian muscles. Okay, so again, larynx is located between the pharynx and these hyoidian muscles, and we can say it is located above to the first tracheal ring. This is the first tracheal ring right here, and under the hyoid bone. We can say that it extends along of the fifth and the sixth cervical vertebra. Okay, it is a respiratory organ, but in the same time, it's a very important organ in speaking. Actually, because of the vocal folds which are inside of the larynx, larynx is the organ which produces the sounds. You know that is not enough to produce the sounds for speaking, because if you really want to speak, you have to use your tongue, your teeth, your cheeks, palatine region. Even pharynx is important in speaking. Of course, the position, the shape, and the position is variable. There are some factors which can influence the position of the larynx. First of all, let's speak about the age. Why the age can influence the position, because larynx has in its structure muscular fibers, and you know that the muscular fibers in time they lose their force and their elasticity, and because of this the shape, the aspect of the larynx can be changed. It's variable in function of the gender, male or female, because look at it. This grape, the biggest cartilage of the larynx, it's the thyroid cartilage or Adam apple, if you want. This cartilage, in case of the boys, these plates, look, the left and the right plate, they are perpendicular between them. So, because of this, the larynx it's very prominent in front. It's visible. If boys, if you look in a mirror to see your neck, you will see this prominence, which is exactly this cartilage. In case of the girls, we cannot see it, but we can feel it. So, girls, put your hand on the central part of the neck and press a little. If your voice is changed, you are in the correct place. If no, try again. So if you keep your hand there on the larynx, now you can try to do some movements to see that the position, look, the movements of the vertebral column can influence the position. So, for example, if you realize extension of the head, if you move behind the head, you will feel that larynx goes a little upward. Um, it's exactly the same in deglutition time, or if you want to sing with higher sounds. Um, if you want to sing like a sopran, you will see the larynx goes a little upward. Um, Inverse, if you realize the flexion of the head, the larynx will go downward. Good. So these movements can change the position of the larynx. Okay, you have to know that it is not a very big organ. Actually, it has just a few centimeters, but it's very, very complex. Look at it. The most important part of the larynx is represented by the cartilages. And my advice for you when you study is to try to understand very well how are these cartilages and which is their position. Because if you know the cartilages, it's simple to determine the joints between them, the ligaments which connect cartilages, the membranes, the muscles, and finally vessels and nerves. But if you don't know cartilages, you will never know these parts. So let's take in order. Cartilages. Look at it. This is anterior view, posterior view, and here we have just cartilages. But let's take a look here. This is hyoid bone. So again, it's anterior view. And with the blue, you can see the cartilages. The thyroid cartilage is the biggest cartilage of the larynx. It's unpaired. Right here, cricoid. Cricoid cartilage is like a ring, but the flat part of the cartil of this ring is behind. It's visible here on the posterior view. We can see a little part from epiglottis. So in anterior view, we can see just cricoid, thyroid, and epiglottis. The great parts here, these are membranes or ligaments which connect the cartilages. If you look to this picture, which is a posterior view, and of course there is a section here, we can see the cricoid cartilage, the posterior part. Look, the thyroid. You can see behind between this place there is a space. Right here we have arytenoidean cartilages. There is one left and one right. They looks like triangles. On the top of them there are other cartilages right here, cornicular. Look, you can see better here, this cornicular. A little more upward in this region must be cuneiforms. Look, are visible here, cuneiforms. This is cuneiform. Paired cartilage too. Epiglottis. Epiglottis is unpaired, is just one. And triticea cartilages are these. But let's take them separate. Okay, so here again you can see them. Cricoid, it's one. Thyroid, it's one. Epiglottis is one. Arytenoidean, there is one left and one right. Cornicular or corniculate, one left and one right. Triticeal cartilages here, and right here in this region, but not very well visible because of the thyroid, cuneiform cartilages. Again, this is anterior view. So thyroid cartilage is the biggest cartilage. As I said before, we can see it in case of the boys. We can feel it in case of the girls. So it's palpable. It has two plates. These plates are united in front, right here, and determine in the upper part thyroidean incisor, right here, incisor or notch. And in the lateral parts, the border present a horn on each side. There is one superior, one inferior, superior and inferior. Attention, these two plates, they are connected just in front. Behind, there is a space there. That space, if we turn back a little to that picture, look at it. So this is posterior view. The space between the plates is covered just in the lower part by the cricoid cartilage. Okay, good. Let's go back. The next cartilage is cricoid. So cricoid, as I said, is like a ring, but a ring with the flat part orientated behind. So this is anterior, this is posterior. So this flat part, we say this is lamina, cricoid lamina. So the thinner part of the ring is in front and the flat part or lamina is behind. It's very important to know that, look, if you look to this picture, this is the thin part, this is visible here. In the lateral parts, this cartilage is articulated with thyroid cartilage, and in the posterior part, lamina has on its upper border another articulation with arytenoid cartilages. Okay, the next is epiglottis. Epiglottis looks like a leaf. You know that we spoke about it. Epiglottis is visible here, and its position is obliquely. So in this way, permit the passing of the air through the nose, pharynx, and then into the larynx, and then to the trachea. In deglutition time, epiglottis goes downward and it shuts the entry into the larynx. So the food from the mouth passes to the pharynx, the last part of the so from the mouth, second part of the pharynx, third part of the pharynx, and then to the esophagus. Okay, so this orifice or the entry into the larynx is adytus laryngeum. Okay, so till now we saw the unpaired cartilages, thyroid, cricoid, and epiglottis. Let's see now that cartilages which are paired. Right here you can see arytenoid, the biggest paired cartilages. So there is one left and one right. They have a triangular shape. The base is articulated with the lamina of the cricoid cartilage. Attention, it's important to know that arytenoid cartilage has two processes. One is here anterior and one is here posterior. Again, this is a lateral view, so anterior part is this, posterior part is this. Anterior because is the thinner part here, and lamina is posterior. So this is anterior process and this is posterior. Inside of this larynx, right here, exactly in this region, there are vocal folds, and vocal folds or vocal ligaments, they are connected with these processes. So that's why this process will be vocal process. Behind this process is connected with the muscles. You will see very soon, right here on the posterior side of the larynx, we have a lot of muscles. So that's why we will say this is muscular process. So anterior vocal, posterior muscular. The apex of the arytenoid cartilage is articulated with the other one, corniculate or cornicular, how you prefer, cartilage. Cornicular because looks like a horn. Look at it. This is cornicular cartilage. Small, rounded, and actually right here in this region there is a fold. The name is aryepiglottical because it connects this cartilage with epiglottis. You will see very soon in another picture. Okay, so posterior view and lateral view. Again, let's see. Lamina of the cricoid cartilage is right here. On its upper border, we have this like a triangle arytenoid cartilage. On the top of it, cornicular. cartilage, and more upward and laterally, right here, cuneiform. The same, arytenoidean, cornicular, and cuneiform cartilage. And the last tritice cartilages, they are the smallest cartilages, more upward. Good. So we saw the cartilages, and you have to know that um, they must be connected between them by some anatomical formations, some ligaments. Ligaments connect cartilages between them, and in the same time they connect the larynx which other regions of the body above, for example, with the hyoid bone or with the tongue, because you know the root of the tongue starts right here on the body of the hyoid, or downward the larynx is connected with the trachea, with the first tracheal ring. So it doesn't matter um, which connection is realized. We can say ligament of or membrane. Membrane if the connection is very flat. I will give you just one example. If you look here, look, hyoid bone is connected with this cartilage, which is thyroid cartilage. So the name will, because it's very flat, we will say membrane, hyothyroidean membrane. If you look here, it's a lateral view. Look at it. Right here is that thyroid cartilage. Right here, arytenoidean cartilage. This is lamina of the cricoid. Remember, arytenoidean cartilage has vocal process and muscular process. Look at it. Right here, it's vocal fold or vocal ligament. A little more upward, there is vestibular ligament or the false vocal cord. We will take each in part to see exactly how they are, and after that you can turn back to this picture and to try to recognize all of them. So the first is we start from above and we go in order downward. So the first is hyothyroidean membrane. Again, hyo because of the hyoid bone. So as you can see, it starts from the inferior border of the hyoid bone and it goes till the thyroid cartilage, till the upper border of the thyroid cartilage. You can see right here there are orifices. There is one orifice on each side. This orifice is for the blood vessels and for the nerves because arteries they go inside of the larynx through this orifice. Then the veins come out. The nerves they pass through this orifice too. Okay, another membrane here. It's hyoepiglottical. Look at it. It's a lateral view, hyoid bone. Under the hyoid, right here, it's thyroid cartilage, but um, the lamina, the right lamina, it's removed here. So that's why we see just a border of this cartilage. Right here it's epiglottis. Remember epiglottis, which is obliquely orientated, and here is the entry into the larynx. So hyoepiglottical connect membrane connects the hyoid bone with epiglottis. But look at it, hyoid bone is very small, its central part. Epiglottis is bigger, so that's why this membrane looks very small in this part and very flat in this region. There is something important here. Right under the hyoepiglottical membrane, there is some fat, um, an adipose tissue, and the function of it, you can imagine it's like a pillow. Remember, epiglottis, it's moved obliquely downward. So in deglutition it goes downward and then it turns back to let the air to go into the larynx. So this fat it's like a pillow, doesn't let epiglottis to come too much in front, to come in contact with the hyoid bone. So because the epiglottis is a cartilage, hyoid it's a bone, so the cartilage, if it comes in contact with the bone, in time can be destroyed. So this fat protects epiglottis, doesn't let it to come too much in front. We are still in the upper part. Another connection is realized between the tongue, look at it, the tongue and epiglottis. Um, we mentioned these connections when we studied the tongue. Glossoepiglottical folds or ligaments. There is one median, one left here, and one right here. So um, we can consider them ligaments because they connect the tongue by the cartilage of the larynx. If you look right here, look, this is the root of the tongue, and this is epiglottis. And right here in this region, there are some dilatations, vallecules. Good. So we saw till now the upper part. Let's go more inferior to see the next ligament, thyroepiglottical. So look at it. The blue is that section through the thyroid cartilage. Again, if you don't remember, thyroid is the biggest, that which with two plates, but in this picture it's removed the right plate. So it's a sagittal view, a medial view. So is the inner part. So the thyroid cartilage is connected with epiglottis. Right here, this is the ligament, this gray part, thyroepiglottical cartilage from the ligament from the posterior surface of the thyroid to the base of the epiglottis. Okay, more inferior, right here, there is cricotracheal. Cricoid cartilage is this. Is the cartilage like a ring with the thinner part in front. So this is anterior view. Thyroid cartilage, epiglottis, hyoid bone, hyothyroidean membrane right here. So cricotracheal is right here. So cricoid cartilage is connected with the first tracheal ring to form cricotracheal ligament. We saw from above to below all these ligaments, but now let's go inside of the larynx. You have to know that there are other ligaments and membranes. So if you look right here, this is a transversal section. So the first we have the most superior, this pink right here are vestibular folds. If you look to this picture, this is vestibular fold, and more inferior right here, this is the vocal fold, or right here the white part. It's deeper. So please don't confuse the vestibular fold with the vocal fold. Vestibular are considered the false vocal folds. The emission of the sounds is determined by the vibration of the vocal folds. Vocal folds, they have elastical tissue in their structure and some muscular fibers. So vibration of this doesn't determine sounds. Just these folds determine emission of the sounds. And the last inside of the larynx, right here, you can see with gray the fibroelastical membrane. Fibro because of the fibrous structure, and elastical because of elastical part of the membrane. It is located under the mucus of the larynx, and because of the shape in the upper part, we can say This is quadrangular membrane, and the most inferior part it's very elastical, and the name is conus elasticus. Um, it's important to be elastical, this inferior part, because right here are the vocal folds. You will see inside that vocal folds in a few minutes. Okay, so we saw till now the cartilages and we saw the ligaments or the membranes which connect cartilages between them, and in the same time um, ligaments and membranes which connect the larynx with the hyoid bone above and with the tongue above and with the trachea below. You have to know that larynx present two type of joints. So till now you know that the joints are between the just between the bones, but in this case we can describe two joints. So let's see. First of all, if you look to this picture, look, this like a ring is cricoid. This flat, it's thyroid. It's a lateral view. So in the lateral part right here, on each part actually laterally, there is an articulation between thyroid and cricoid, and another one right here. This is cricoid. The thyroid is removed in this picture. Another joint is right here between arytenoid cartilage and cricoid. So let's take them in order. If we speak about this first, look at it. These two triangles can realize two type of movements. So um, they can be rotated. So um, again, I want to remember you. Look, this is the vocal process. So right here, imagine there is one vocal fold and here is the other one. So when these cartilages will be rotated, the space between the vocal folds will be changed. So when these cartilages are moved, the vocal folds will be moved too. So as the result, they will produce the sounds. In the same time, can be realized another movement. So this triangle can slide on the border of the lamina, cricoid lamina. So they do the same movements in the same time, the left and the right cartilage. So even they describe a rotation or they can slide on the superior border. And in case of this joint, cricothyroid, let's take a minute, just a minute, please. So sorry, but someone called me and was important. So let's go further. So these joints, because of their movements, they change the position of the vocal folds. And in case of this joint, because it is between the thyroid and cricoid, it can determine or the cricoid to be moved up or the thyroid to be moved down, so to incline this cartilage. And because inside of the larynx in this region we have vocal folds, again the movement of this joint determine the vibration of the vocal folds. Okay, another part important is represented by the muscles. Again, I want to remember you that the larynx is not very big. It has just a few centimeters. So the muscles of the larynx, even they are very short and thin, they are important because the contraction of them change the position of the cartilages and determine vibration of the vocal folds and can open or shut the glottis. Glottis is that orifice of the larynx. Okay, so I put all of them here, but I will take them separate. And again, when we finish them, you can turn back here to recognize all of them. So let's see. Again, the name of the muscle is determined by the uh, connection between, look at it, for example, cricothyroidean, crico from cricoid cartilage, thyroidean to the thyroid cartilage. So right here is our muscle. As you can see, um, it connects inferior border of the thyroid with superior border of the cricoid cartilage. It has two type of fibers here. What's the movement? When the muscle is contracted, or inclines the thyroid or rises the cricoid cartilage. So because of this movement, it extends the vocal folds. Uh, Again, I want to repeat, if you know cartilages, it's very easy to determine the ligaments between them and the muscles between them. So please try to understand very well cartilages and just then try to recognize these muscles. Another muscle is cricoarytenoidean, but this muscle has two type of fibers. There is one posterior group and one lateral. Uh, Look at it. This is a lateral view, so this is posterior, and right here this is the lateral. But I want to turn back to this picture. Look, this is posterior view. So cricoarytenoidean is right here. Again, this flat part is cricoid cartilage. You know that lamina of the cricoid cartilage presents on the upper part, right here under these muscles, that arytenoidean cartilages, those like triangles. So the muscle from the cricoid, which goes to the muscular process of the arytenoidean cartilage, will be cricoarytenoidean posterior, because you will see there is another one lateral. Look at it. Cricoarytenoidean 2 is in the lateral part. From the lateral part of the cricoid to the same muscular process of arytenoidean cartilage. If you can imagine right here that triangle, look at it. Right here in this point, we have a lot of muscles. This. That's why this is muscular process. Or here you can see muscular process. Let's turn back. Look, this is muscular process right here. This is vocal, this is muscular. Good. So, cricoarytenoidean, again, this is posterior and this is lateral. But attention, this posterior is the only muscle of the larynx which open the glottis. The rest of the muscle, they shut the glottis. So it is the single abductor. Abduction means that the vocal folds, they are moved far one from another. The lateral, right here, it shuts glottis, so it is adductor. It moves the vocal folds close one to another, closer. Okay, another muscle is thyroarytenoidean. So let's try to recognize thyroid cartilage. Thyroid is that big. Again, here is the lateral the plate, the right plate, it's removed, so we can see just that median line of the thyroid cartilage. So from thyroid to arytenoidean muscle, right here, thyroarytenoidean uh, muscle to the arytenoidean cartilage. When it's contracted, it reduces rima glottis. It moves the arytenoidean cartilages one near another, so realize adduction. And we consider it a vocal muscle because it changes the tension of the vocal folds. Again, this is a posterior view. So um, arytenoidean cartilages are in this region. There is one here and another one here. So there are two type of muscles. You can see these transversal fibers which connect the left and the right arytenoidean cartilage and form the transversal fascicle. But there is another group of fibers obliquely. So from the apex of the one arytenoid cartilage to the base of the opposite and inverse. So this is oblique fascicle. The function is to reduces that orifice. Another one, another muscle is thyroepiglottical. Again, thyro because of the thyroid, epiglottical because of epiglottis. So look right here, this is thyroepiglottical. Thyroepiglottical muscle, it shuts glottis. You will see this glottis very soon. And ariepiglottical muscle, arytenoidean cartilages are behind. From this region, ari, from arytenoidean, from this region, because arytenoid cartilages, they are on the posterior part on the lamina right here on the superior border of the lamina. So from arytenoid cartilage to epiglottis, ariepiglottical muscle. It shows the glottis too. So remember, just this muscle right here, this is the single which open the glottis. The rest of them, all of them, they shut the glottis. How it looks inside the larynx. So this is an inner view. It's a frontal section posterior from the posterior side. So we can see just the border of the thyroid cartilage, hyoid bone right here, epiglottis, and trachea is right here. So attention. We can say that larynx, the cavity of the larynx looks like an hourglass. So right here, the first part, the entry into the larynx, we can say this is the vestibule, laryngean vestibule. You can remember the vestibule of the mouth. So before the real cavity of the larynx, this entry is the vestibule. We can say that the vestibule is delimited by borders of the epiglottis and these white parts which are that vestibular folds or ventricular. You can use the same terms, ventricular or vestibular folds. So just this is vestibule right here. The middle part, this part, the dark part, this is laryngean ventricle. So it's delimited by the ventricular folds above or vestibular folds and by the real vocal folds below. So this is the ventricle and the most inferior part of the larynx is this space infraglottic cavity. So glottis is this orifice right here between the vocal folds. Attention, please don't confuse glottis with the laryngean adytus. So the entry into the larynx is adytus. Glottis is this space right here. Okay, and the last part about the vascularization. Um, Look at it. Remember this membrane, hyothyroidean membrane. When I presented to you, I said that it has an orifice in the lateral part for the blood vessels. So these vessels, the arteries, are represented by the laryngean arteries. There is one superior and one inferior. They are branches from thyroidean arteries. These thyroidean arteries irrigate all this region of the neck. So they are big arteries. The venous blood it's collected by the veins, which go into thyroidean veins. These thyroidean veins they go finally to the jugular vein, and we have you can see here a few lymph nodes, cervical lymph nodes, cervical because we are in the neck region, And innervation is realized by the laryngeal nerves from the vagus nerve. You can see here the vagus and laryngeal nerve. Okay, so this is it. If you want to divide the lecture in labs, you can let one lab for this larynx, another lab for the nose, and another lab for the um, pancreas and the biliary extrahepatic ducts. Again, I want to remember you. If you need more help, you can text me on mail or on WhatsApp or use the SMS, how you prefer, and I will explain you more if you need it. Thank you. Take care of you. Please stay positive and see you next week. Ciao, ciao.